Hi y'all, so today I'm going to talk to you about how you can start a Booktube channel or a YouTube channel in general that features sit-down videos 100% for free or for like less than $30, because the reality is you don't need a fancy camera, you don't need a studio lighting set, you don't need a $300 editing software and a microphone or any of that stuff to have a channel that has decent quality videos. The reality is you probably have stuff around your house that you can use to do this. So for starters, I actually film on my phone. I have an iPhone 6S, so it's not even one of the newer ones. And it's the quality of video you're getting right now. I'm filming on it. Pro tip, if you can, film using the back camera versus the front-facing camera because the quality is a little bit better in the back-facing camera. And you can increase or decrease the exposure. And you can also do this on an Android-based phone. I will link some links to some how-to videos on how to change the exposure because it can help to brighten your videos if that's something you're struggling with. In terms of a tripod, my sister for Christmas got me this $13 tripod from Amazon and it works amazing. I'll insert like a picture of it like here. Or in the past, I have used a cheap like tripod you can get at like Target for $5, and I've done this a lot, I've actually stacked books up and just laid my phone along that and use that to get enough height to film videos. And if you already have a tripod but you're like, how do I put my phone on this? Or if you found like a really cheap tripod, you can get like a selfie stick for like $5 at like one of those Five Below stores or like a dollar store. Unscrew the top part of where you like put your phone in, and that attachment usually fits onto the screw top attachment of any tripod. Or you can get an adapter on Amazon for like $3. Again, very low budget cost operation. Then for lighting, this is the only part that actually costs money that I think that you might need if you don't have access to daylight. I'm filming at about 6 o'clock at night, and it's not enough daylight with the way my windows are facing in the winter to do well-lighted videos. And for some of you, you might not have the option of filming during the day. So this is where light bulbs come in. The key thing is to buy daylight light bulbs. These are the 75 watt equivalent LED lights. This box of 4 at Walmart was under $10. When I got them, I just replaced my overhead ceiling lights. Also, pro tip, it helps with the winter blues, or at least I'm somebody who struggles with the winter blues, and I notice a huge difference with the daylight light bulbs because it mimics natural daylight. And put them in that. And then I also, for having lighting, that's like my overhead light, and then having lighting coming toward me, I have 2 lamps that were just kind of around the house not being used. I took the lampshades off. I unscrewed the light bulbs that were already in them and exchanged them for, well, these already actually had daylight bulbs, but if they didn't, I would have exchanged them for daylight bulbs. And these are the CFL, the curly cube bulbs. And instead of the 70 watt equivalent, 75 watt equivalent, they were the 60 watt equivalent. That was what was already in there. But in the past, I have used 40 watt equivalent. And if you really have to buy like a lamp, I had one in a furnished apartment that was like a 5 headlamp, but I could only actually use 3 because the person had like a colored lamp that I was renting from. But they make ones that were just like white lampshades, and you can get it on like at Walmart or on Amazon for under like $40. Put in your daylight light bulbs and just kind of point them in different directions toward kind of at you, and you'll be lighted up just fine. It's very important that you get the daylight and not the warm light or clear light or any of that, because you'll see like orange or like bluish videos versus this is natural. It has the appearance of natural bright light. In terms of making thumbnails, I know a lot of people do it at PicMonkey. PicMonkey actually charges. You can make I'll leave links to all of this down below. You can make thumbnails on sites like Canva. I have experimented with that. I don't currently use that. I actually currently use the software that a lot of people already have on their computer, or I use a very free version provided on the internet by Google. And so I use, for all of my thumbnails in February and March, I have used PowerPoint to do my thumbnails. And I will go into that in my next video on how I actually make my thumbnails in PowerPoint. And I'll also show you how to do it in Google Slides, because I have used Google Slides to do it. There's just not as many features in Google Slides, but it does the job just fine. You do not have to pay a monthly subscription fee to get thumbnails. So if that's what's stopping you, you don't have to do it. Also, I'll link videos of people telling you how you can edit for free on your phone, using free apps, how you can do thumbnails on your phone using free apps. I don't, but that is an option. And to edit my videos, I use Imovie. If you would like a tutorial on how I do editing, I'm very basic. I literally only use jump cuts and the picture-in-picture feature, so I can show pictures of book covers and things like that. Those are the only two features I really use. But if you really want a tutorial, I can do that. If not, you can Google it. Imovie comes on Mac computers for free, or you can download it through the App Store for free. I believe at least it did when I got my computer originally. But if you have a Windows computer, I will link videos to people who use free editing softwares and a tutorial for those in the description bar down below. That way, if you do have a Windows computer, you don't feel like you can't make videos because you can't have iMovie, because there are free softwares available that do a good enough job to produce the videos you need to do, because really for editing you need jump cuts and picture-in-picture for sit-down videos. You don't need anything else fancy. Like, that's reality. You can decide later that you're going to do fancy editing, but you don't have to do fancy editing. It's not a requirement. You don't have to have a crazy software to do it. You just need the basics, and that's really it. And speaking about Booktube specifically, you do not have to own a ton of books to be a booktuber. That is a big misconception that I hear a lot of people on Booktube spreading. I don't really know how that became a thing, but it does. I actually own less than 15 books in its entirety, and all of them but 2 I have read. Or technically 3 I have read, right? And the only books I really have are books that I'm going to reread. Again, you don't have to own books to be a booktuber. You can get books out from the library to read books for free. You can hold them up in videos. If you, for example, love using your e-reader because it saves you cost, you can do that. But also, a lot of libraries have e-books that you can check out and read on your e-reader. And then when you're talking about them in a video and you don't have a physical book, you just insert a picture, like, of the book cover. Like, that's all you have to do. You do not have to spend money on books to be a booktuber. You do not have to spend money on fancy equipment to be a booktuber, or to have a YouTube channel in general. You just don't have to. And I think there's this misconception, and there is kind of this talk of, if you don't have amazing quality videos, that people won't click on them. And it is true that people are more likely to click on a better quality thumbnail and watch a better quality video. I don't really have the tendency of doing that, but I know it's a reality. It's not something I agree with, but I think knowing that going in is there. But you will still have people watch your videos if you don't film on a DSLR. Like, you will. And most smartphones, and I'm not just talking my iPhone 6S, right, that does a great job at filming. There are the Samsung Notes and the BlackBerry something or other that do good job at having decent cameras. Most smartphones actually have a good enough camera to start a YouTube channel. They have HD quality or 720p, and that's enough. It really is. To have clear enough picture, you don't need a DSLR camera. You can use your smartphone. Most people nowadays in developed countries own a smartphone. Not everybody, but the majority of people. And if you don't own a smartphone, but you by offshoot have a point and shoot camera, you can use that. You can actually find point and shoot cameras fairly cheap on Craigslist or on apps like OfferUp if you really need access to a camera. I used to film on a point and shoot back when I had, if you go back way long time ago, my videos and where I had like teal walls, that was a room I was renting. I used a point and shoot camera back then, and it worked fine. It was one that my sister had and she no longer used, and I was like, hey, I can film with this because she's never going to use it anymore. And so she gave it to me, and that's what I used to film my videos. Now I use my phone. I feel like my phone is way easier to film on. It's way more convenient. It's less hassle to set up. And I do feel like the quality is a little bit crisper on it, but it's just personal preference. And it has a decent mic, which is nice. And the thing is that's all you need to get started. If you financially start making money off of it later, or you come into a different financial situation later and you can upgrade your stuff, and that's a good financial decision for you and that's something you want to do, then at that time I think it's more appropriate to do that. Or you can even just make small upgrades. Like you could get a studio lighting kit, or you could get a $30 external mic that improves your sound quality a little bit. Like there's little things you can do over time to increase things. But again, like my biggest increase is my sister gave me this tripod for Christmas, which is great. The one I had before was starting to fall apart and I was having to stack books up and board games up to use to hold my camera. So this is really nice at Christmas. Again, it's something you can ask for people for like a birthday or a Christmas gift. And since it's under $20, it's not really going to break the bank for a lot of people. So it's a good thing to ask for. And in terms of lighting, because I used to film only in daylight, but then in the winter it became like impossible just because of the hours of the daylight in Texas and daylight savings. Daylight light bulbs save the day. For a total of 5 light bulbs would be under $20, and that's what I have. I have 3 overhead and 2 in the lamps. I mean, that's about as cheap as a lighting setup as I've heard anybody on YouTube really talk about. So again, there are cheap or no cost at all affordable options to have and start a YouTube or a Booktube or any sort of channel. If you really want to, you don't have to have money. You can totally do it for free. People will watch your videos. And you will have people who come on and like the things that you produce and not care about the fact that you don't have a DSLR camera. It's not going to hold you back. I've had a channel for 5 years and I still don't have fancy equipment. And I don't regret not having fancy equipment. Don't get me wrong. If I was gifted a fancy camera tomorrow, I'd be excited and I would film with it. But I don't need it, and I don't feel like I have to have it to continue making videos, and it doesn't decrease my enjoyment. So at the end of the day, you can 100% start a YouTube or a Booktube channel for free or for very low cost. If there's anything else you would like to see other than how I do my thumbnails on PowerPoint/Google Slides, please tell me in the comments below so I can plan on filming those videos. I was originally going to do an 8-part series, but then I decided that that's a bit much and I don't know how much of it would really be relevant to people. So if there's anything at all about having a channel that you would like to know the back end of, whether that's the analytics, which, I mean, I have a super small channel, so my analytics aren't super robust, but there's that. Or any other things that you would like to know at all, feel free to leave requests down below. And if I don't feel like I could do it justice, I will give you the link to somebody else on YouTube that I feel like has already made a video that does a pretty good job at explaining that. That way you do have a free resource that you can turn to get your answers. And I hope you guys found this helpful or interesting, and I will see y'all later. Bye, y'all.